It's really only probably the last 100 years that the main meal has been had at the end of the day. In fact, traditionally, the main meal was always in the middle of the day, especially before electricity, because they didn't have the light at night and it was just more convenient. I was talking to a man who grew up in a little English village. So I was talking to him about 18 years ago, and then he was in his 60s. And he said, the schools closed down, the mines and the businesses closed down, and everyone used to go home and have their main meal. And he said at night we'd have bread and dripping. Well, that was considered something like. So in many cultures you will see that traditionally the main meal was always had in the middle of the day. But again, I don't think anyone planned it. It's just this vast society.
Did you know that over 1 billion people worldwide are classified as overweight or obese? What's even more shocking is that in the previous decade, around 40% of adults struggled with obesity-related health issues. But what if I told you that shedding those extra pounds doesn't have to be complicated? With the right approach, achieving a healthy weight is possible without extreme diets or exhausting workouts. So how can you lose weight effectively? What are the proven strategies that actually work? Stay tuned as we break down the science-backed methods to help you reach your weight loss goals in a sustainable way. As a thank you for joining me today, we're giving away 100 free copies of my best-selling book to subscribers. So if you haven't yet, hit subscribe, like this video, and comment why you want to win.
Our gastrointestinal tract is a hollow tube. And anything that goes into that hollow tube is not part of you or me until it gets broken down into tiny little particles, then it's absorbed into the blood, then it becomes part of you and me. The Bible says in Leviticus 17:11, the life of the flesh is in the blood, because it is the blood that carries the nutrients here to the CBD, the central business district of the human body, is the inside workings of the cell. In fact, one writer called the blood the river of life because of what it carries. And so it brings the glucose goes in under the action of insulin, goes through the 20-step pathway. I'm sure everyone's very familiar with the inside workings of the cell now. Yes? And that 20-step pathway gives us 2 units of energy. Isn't that why we eat? To get glucose, to run our energy cycles. The end result of the 20-step pathway is a chemical form of glucose called pyruvate. And pyruvate, as the chemical form of glucose, gets fed into what's called the powerhouse, because these 8 little chemical reactions, this 8-step pathway, delivers impressive 36 units of energy. And the reason why the 8-step pathway gives 36 units of energy is the presence of oxygen. So this is called the aerobic pathway, whereas this pathway is called the anaerobic pathway because it does not use oxygen. It produces energy by the process of fermentation. So when we eat the carbohydrates, they're broken down to glucose. The first place the glucose is sent is to the cell. The second place it is sent, because only so much can go through the energy cycles, then it is stored as glycogen. We looked at this morning and how that's particularly useful for the diabetic, having these little, well, it's useful for everyone because they're little molecules of glucose sitting in the muscle cell. And that's why the best place to, or the best time to exercise is early morning. Because in early morning, when you're starting to move, some people say, well, how are we going to get fuel to actually exercise? It's your glycogen stores already sitting in your muscle cell. And when the cell needs it, it's plucked and it's released. Amazing process. But on the high carbohydrate diet, and this is what a lot of people don't realise, especially when people go on a weight loss diet and stop all the fat, yeah? Fat-free this, fat-free that, fat-free, fat-free, fat-free. And yet what are they eating? Lots of carbohydrates. Do you know fat gives the feeling of satiation or satisfaction? And the best weight loss diet is a diet that stops your hunger. And fat stops the hunger. So what's happening on this high carbohydrate diet? People have eliminated the fat and they're eating lots and lots and lots of this, not realising that that excess glucose, once we've filled up the energy cycle, we've filled up the glycogen stores, and so now the body sends it to the fat cells. And on this high carbohydrate diet, what's happening to Americans and Australians? They're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. In fact, it's one of the most dangerous fats because what the body does is it stores it in the probably areas of the body that's not used a lot, maybe the arms, the belly, the hips, the thighs, and then when that gets all filled up, then it starts to go to the internal organs, weighing them down.
This build-up of fat around the internal organs creates serious health risks. When fat accumulates around the liver, heart and pancreas, it affects their ability to function properly. The liver plays a key role in processing nutrients and detoxifying the body. When excess fat surrounds it, the liver struggles to keep up with these tasks. This can lead to a condition called fatty liver disease, which increases the risk of diabetes and heart problems. The heart also suffers under the burden of too much fat. It has to work harder to pump blood through the body, leading to higher blood pressure. Over time, this increases the risk of heart attacks and strokes. The pancreas, which produces insulin, becomes less efficient when surrounded by fat. This can lead to insulin resistance, a key factor in type 2 diabetes. Weight gain from a high carbohydrate diet often happens slowly, making it easy to overlook. People might notice their clothes feeling tighter or their energy levels dropping, but they may not realise the deeper effects on their health. The body can only store so much glycogen before the excess glucose has to be converted into fat. This is why limiting processed carbohydrates and refined sugars is important. Eating foods rich in healthy fats helps control hunger and maintain steady energy levels. Avocados, nuts, seeds, and olive oil provide essential nutrients while keeping the body satisfied. Protein is another key factor in maintaining a balanced diet. It helps build and repair tissues, supports muscle growth, and prevents sudden spikes in blood sugar. Physical activity also plays a big role in managing weight and overall health. Regular movement helps burn stored glycogen and encourages the body to use fat for energy. Activities like walking, cycling, and resistance training improve metabolism and support heart health. Strength training builds muscle, which increases the number of calories burned at rest.
So I was not really interested in reading Dr. Atkins' book because everyone says, it's just meat, dairy, cream, butter, cheese, eggs. That's what his diet is. So I thought, well, I'm not interested in that because I don't eat that. But we had a man come and do our program. This would be maybe 18 years ago now. And he said, I know you're not going to like it, Barbara, but I do very well on the Atkins diet. And when I go off the Atkins diet, I go down. Now, every good health professional, what will they do? They will listen. So I can't argue against that. And I want to know why. Why does this man do so well on the Atkins diet? So I was intrigued. And then about that time, maybe a fortnight later or 2 weeks later, we had another guy do our program. He's 44, fit, but he had a lot of allergies. And on the second day, remember we do our juice days Monday, Tuesday? So on Tuesday, 2 o'clock, I get a call. They said, quickly, Barbara, Anton needs to speak to you. I said, what's the matter, Anton? He said, I'm not doing well. He said, I feel terrible, I'm lightheaded, I'm feeling nauseous. My body says it needs protein. I said, okay, because what have I got to do? I've got to listen. So I made him up a protein drink. At that stage, we weren't giving protein drinks to our guests. I didn't understand the 3 phases of the liver detox at that stage. It's actually only been known probably since 2000. So I gave him a protein drink. I saw him 10 minutes later. He said, thanks, that's good. So again, my mind starts to work. Why did that man go well on the Atkins diet? Why did that man need protein? And then the next piece of information in the equation, I was staying at a friend's house and I was staying in the spare room, and when I woke up in the morning, there's the bookcase at the end of the bed, and I love reading. I'm an avid reader. So my eyes are going through, and there was one book that seemed to just jump out at me, Dr. Atkins' New Revolutionary Diet. Righto, I said, I'll look at it. Do you know, I couldn't put it down. It's a fascinating book. His research and his story is very interesting. I went out that day and I bought his book. And this is his story, Dr. Atkins. He said he was a GP, late 40s, putting on a bit of excess weight. He knew his science. He knew that carbohydrates stored as fat, so he decided to do an experiment on himself. He decided to stop all carbohydrates. And he theorised that if he stopped all carbohydrates, his body would start to live on his fat stores. So what did he eat? He chose foods that had no carbohydrate. So his diet was high in protein, meat, butter, cream, cheese, eggs, that's a lot of protein. Fat, meat, butter, cream, cheese, eggs, that's a lot. But something else surprised me that you never hear about. He ate 3 cups of vegetables a day, and 1 cup had to be greens. And so there was the fibre. The weight just fell off him. He theorised right. He wasn't giving carbohydrates to his body, so, well, hardly any, a little bit in the vegetables. So his body started to live on his fat stores. The weight started to drop off him. He was never hungry because these are the 3 foods that give the feeling of satiation, satisfaction. He had lots of energy because your liver can convert protein and fat to glucose if it needs it, and it can break down your fat stores to give you glucose. It's called gluconeogenesis, creating glucose from the fat stores. Has he found the perfect diet? Never hungry, lots of energy, weight's falling off him, so he started to put some of his patients on this.
The Atkins diet is effective for weight loss because it reduces carbohydrate intake and forces the body to burn fat for energy. When carbohydrates are limited, insulin levels drop and the body shifts to using stored fat as fuel. This process, known as ketosis, helps people lose weight without feeling hungry. High protein and high fat foods play a key role in this diet. Protein increases satiety, which reduces overall calorie intake. Fat also provides long-lasting energy and helps control hunger. Unlike diets that focus on calorie restriction, this approach allows people to eat until they feel full while still losing weight. Vegetables are included in the plan, providing fibre that supports digestion and keeps blood sugar levels stable. The body gets essential nutrients without the excess sugars found in processed foods. This balance helps prevent energy crashes and cravings, making it easier to stick with the diet. Blood sugar stability is another reason this diet works. When people eat carbohydrates, blood sugar spikes, leading to increased insulin production. High insulin levels encourage fat storage and make it difficult to lose weight. By cutting out most carbohydrates, insulin levels remain low, and fat burning continues throughout the day. Many people struggle with diets because they feel deprived, but this approach allows for satisfying meals. Foods like eggs, meat, cheese, and healthy fats keep people full and satisfied, reducing the urge to snack on unhealthy options. With hunger under control, staying consistent becomes much easier. Energy levels often improve on this diet. When the body runs on fat instead of carbohydrates, energy remains steady without the highs and lows caused by sugar. This stable energy supports an active lifestyle, making it easier to stay physically active, which further supports weight loss.
And what Dr. Atkins showed, and he went into the medical journals and he found confirmation on this, that the non-essential food group is carbohydrates. And how many people are overdoing the non-essential and missing out on the essential? And what's the result? Obesity, heart disease, diabetes, dementia, Alzheimer's. Hippocrates said, let food be your medicine and medicine be your food. Now remember, carbohydrates aren't bad. My husband would never forgive me if the potatoes stopped. It's only when they're overdone and refined. So number 2 for weight loss, low carbohydrate. Low carb, high fibre. Generous protein and healthy fats.
The Atkins diet also helps with water weight reduction in the early stages. Carbohydrates hold water in the body, so when they are removed, excess water weight drops quickly. This provides motivation for many people to continue with the plan. Long-term success depends on making this way of eating sustainable. Once weight loss goals are met, some carbohydrates can be reintroduced in moderation. Choosing whole, unprocessed foods instead of sugary or refined options helps maintain results and prevents weight regain. Many studies support this diet's effectiveness. Research shows that low carbohydrate diets can lead to greater weight loss compared to low-fat diets, especially in the first few months. The combination of fat burning, appetite control, and steady energy makes this a strong choice for those looking to lose weight without constant hunger or frustration.
But it's the 4th point that I think made a dramatic effect. It all has an effect. And that was the high-intensity interval training. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you inside the cell and show you why the high-intensity interval training is so effective. So this is intervals of high intensity, intervals of recovery, and it's done for a cycle. And Doug McGuff, the heart doctor, he suggests 30 seconds high intensity, 90 seconds recovery for a cycle of 6. There's 15 minutes a day. Sorry, but no excuse. If you haven't got 15 minutes, start to write down how long you're on the computer, how long are you on the phone, how long are you on your iPad, how long do you spend watching television. And you will quickly see time to do some adjustments with your time. What I want to show you is what happens inside the cell when you do the high-intensity interval training. Now, before I go there, just let me define high intensity. It's anything that gets the heart rate up and the breathing. So Michael and I, we run up hills every day, and our recovery is walking down hills, and we run up the other hill. When I was in Germany 2 weeks ago, where I was staying was in a little village, and the house I stayed with was right up on the side of a hill. So anywhere I went, when I went back home, I had some high intensity. And I found a path through the forest. And I found this path by accident because when I was going on my usual road, I passed a man with a dog. And it was on a big rope, and this dog was jumping, trying to get at me, barking ferociously. I was terrifying. And I thought, I got to find somewhere else to walk. I don't want to pass that dog again. And then I found this bush track. They call it a forest track. And in this forest track, I got 5 high intensities, and I wasn't even running. It was just walking. And it was a track that was made for a tractor, so it wasn't for a car, because I don't even know if a car would have got up those steep ones. So I was very happy with my track that I found, and the nasty dog didn't go on that track because it was bush. It was a track you could walk. So sometimes you don't even need to run. All I need to do was walk and walk fast up these really steep bits. Most of the research has been done on an exercise bike where the person If they're unstable on their feet, they're holding on. It's very good. If they've got hip or knee or ankle problems, then the weight is not on those areas. And you can cycle as fast as possible, and then your recovery time can just be slow cycle. It could be swimming, doing laps of the pools. It could be push-ups. I mentioned when my boys visited last April at Easter holidays, they were doing 1,000 push-ups a day. They do it 20 at a time, 20 at a time. So they were certainly doing that interval all through the day. And they got out on my back veranda and were doing the pull-ups. The recovery time is really just till you feel it's time to run again or it's time to go fast again. It doesn't have to be 90 seconds, but that's what you're aiming for. Your recovery time is an indication of your fitness. The longer you take to recover, it's usually an indicator that the more unfit you are. And if you take a long time to recover, don't worry about it. This is progressive. That's what Al Sear's book says, progressive acceleration of cardiopulmonary exertion, pace. So as you get stronger, as your body gets fitter, you'll be able to do less recovery time.
High-intensity interval training, HIIT, is a powerful way to support weight loss. It involves short bursts of intense exercise followed by brief rest periods. This approach pushes the body to work hard in a short time, leading to more calories burned during and after the workout. During intense activity, the heart rate increases and the body uses a lot of energy. This creates an afterburn effect known as excess post-exercise oxygen consumption, EPOC. The body continues burning calories for hours after the workout, even while resting. This makes HIIT more effective for fat loss than steady-paced exercises like walking or jogging. HIIT also helps improve metabolism. The body becomes better at using fat for energy instead of storing it. Over time, this can reduce overall body fat and improve muscle tone. Since muscle burns more calories than fat, increasing muscle mass through HIIT can make it easier to maintain a healthy weight. Short workouts are another benefit. A HIIT session can be as short as 15-30 minutes while still being highly effective. This makes it easier to fit into a busy schedule. People who struggle to find time for long workouts can still see great results with this method. HIIT also helps control appetite. Studies suggest that intense workouts reduce hunger hormones while increasing hormones that signal fullness. This can prevent overeating and support better food choices. No special equipment is needed. Exercises like sprinting, jumping jacks, push-ups and burpees can be done anywhere. This makes HIIT accessible to people at different fitness levels. Regular HIIT workouts improve heart health by strengthening the heart and lungs. It also lowers blood pressure and increases endurance. A stronger heart means the body can use oxygen more efficiently, making daily activities feel easier. By combining fat-burning, muscle-building and heart-strengthening effects, HIIT is a great tool for weight loss and overall health. It provides maximum benefits in less time, making it a smart choice for anyone looking to improve fitness and shed extra weight. Losing weight doesn't have to be overwhelming. With the right mindset, consistency, and science-backed strategies, reaching your goals is absolutely possible. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tips on health and fitness. Got questions or personal experiences to share? Drop them in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.